Hey Isaac, so welcome today now for clarity of who. This is a guideline pretty much about not just clarity of who but the history of everything behind it. I hope it's going to be like really helpful in how you implement it in your LC. I'm the person that will be doing the session today. I'm Caroline. I was MCVP TM for Zach in Georgia in 1819, and for this term, I'm working as GST for Knowledge Management in TM. And at the same time, I'm part of the Global Expansion Board as one of OD members for TM. So today, as you can see, for the content, we have the clarity of origins, clarity of elements, and clarity of overview and the task. Pretty much the idea of this division is to be sure that you understand like the origins of everything, what are the elements we have, and the overviews that came a little bit later in the process. So first one, this video is about clarity of origins. So how was the creation of, the exact way, how we had the clarity of everything happening. And as you can see here, first things first, like we need to understand like what are these, what, why, how. So pretty much they come, as you can see here, from the golden circle. During the period for the planning for Isaac 2020, one of the things that they started thinking about is like, okay, we need to have like more clear what are the things related with our products and with our reason of working in the organization. So one of the main things that they started thinking is, where can we find something that can help us to achieve it? And the golden circle was something that really helped a lot in this thinking process. If you see here, one of the explanations we had in the very beginning for 1516 was done by Ana Saudariaga. She was MCP in Colombia, and then she was AIVP, working with one of the regions that then later became MIA, and she was PAI for 1516, as you can see. Pretty much in this video she explains like everything about why, how, and what, so you can understand how was the very beginning of the thinking process. Like you need to understand that it's something that it was just the start. So it was something that's, oh, okay, we have these things, we have the exact way and so on, but it was just the very beginning. So pretty much her term kick-started it. Then if you go to 1617, you're going to see that, okay, they were thinking like we have these things, but it's the beginning. So how can we make it better for the members? And in this period, they created the project like the PAI news. He decided that, okay, we need to make it even better. People need to understand the things that we are talking them. Like they can't just, remember it by memorizing and that's all. So they created the project called the clarity of what. And actually in this one they have the what, how, and why explained. And like in all the cases, you can actually check the videos by clicking in the picture. And pretty much like here you can see the explanation they did during this time. Pretty much it was their way to try to bring clarity for the whole network. So everyone could have the same kind of understanding. After that, we actually had from Abdus term, PAI 1718, the explanation of one of the most important things we have as TM, our people. So who are the people that are doing this? Here again, you can see in the video how was the process and everything that they were thinking about. But it was like really important because for TM specifically, 1718 is when we came back in having any IVP, because before that we had around 2 years with no AIVP, so TM had like no guidelines. And actually this was really good for us even because we started having new things, and since it was the middle of the ISAC 2020 vision, it means that a lot of things started coming together with this. So you see, for example, that the roadmap spreadsheets and tracking that we know, they, for example, started from here to be more clear. So lots of things actually they started showing more here after, you know, these 2 years had passed. So it was like really good for us in a sense. Then if you go after that, you see that with that we had the video about the clarity of who. And this one's actually really nice to check and explain to people the who. And I really consider that it's something important to have different ways to explain the people the who, because yes, like we have materials and this video and so on, but try to find, you know, nice ways to explain to them it, because even if you have these materials, like as you can see, people are always trying to evolve and make things better. So even if we have these things now, if there is anything that you can do from your side, I think it's super important. Then, okay, we had clarity of who started, but remember, just the kickstart of clarity of who. Um, we had here one thing that supported us a lot as well to make this kickstart even better. That was actually the fact that we had the blue code. So in this case, we had not just like, okay, we know who are the people here, but we started thinking about our team leaders. Like, okay, the very first leadership experience we have in Isaac is what? Team leaders usually. So with this one, we started to find a way to support as well the team leaders and explain to them like, okay, what is expected, what you need to do, like what is the routine that can support you in your goals. And one thing really important from this one is it's called, of course, something related with team leaders, but consider the blue code something that if you are a leader, you should be aware of it. Because in the end of the day, it's everything that's related with the leadership you want to develop. So even the LCP or VPs with the team leaders and so on, they need to understand these things that are their responsibility, and at the same time, what are the things that they should be expecting from their team leaders as well. And yeah, now here the last one, and still important, after we had like all these things super amazing, we had in 1819 the clarity of who for teams. So again, remember that I said that 1718 was just the kickstart for clarity of who. So in this case, this material was like, okay, how can we evolve it more? So it was the moments that they started thinking, how can we explain it not just globally, but for teams, how that connects with you. And again, this is like really important for us because it's something that can help you to explain it on LC level. So always try to have like, you know, clear these materials because they are here to support, but at the same time, try to adapt because we have a lot of things to consider when we are doing all these things. Like even now 1920 term, we are still like having things that we are trying to improve. And even with that, for sure, when 2025 comes, like maybe we have some changes or new things or make just things, you know, better in general. So for all these things, it's super good if you are always aware of what works and what doesn't work in your LC, and try to have these materials as guidelines but adapt as well to the reality, because in the end of the day, like all these that we are doing for almost 5 years, it's just the beginning of a process that can still improve to a point that in the future it will show results. Because for now we are still having issues in terms of having, for example, team standards to be shown to be something that will help us to, you know, keep people and everything. So try to consider all this and actually work with the EB to guarantee the implementation. Cool. Okay, so this is pretty much the clarity of origins. Any questions and anything that you want to talk about or share, you can share both in classroom or you can send an email, message, or so on, because it's super important for us to be aware of these things and maybe help each other. Okay, so the next one we are going to see is the next video for clarity of elements.